Now we're nearly done with the primary season, and we've seen a look into how this nominating process works. So, how do people feel about this nomination process? Well, apparently, from what they've seen, they kind of don't like it. According to a new Reuters Ipsos poll released today, most Americans actually want a better system than what we have now. And over half of them think that this system that we have now is rigged. The poll found that 51% of likely voters believe that the primary system is rigged against some candidates. Some. Now, I'm assuming this has a lot to do with both Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, who've both spoken out against the current system. Bernie Sanders talking about the closed primaries, and of course, Donald Trump talking about some of the arcane delegate rules, which Ted Cruz used to his advantage to try and steal delegates away from Donald Trump. So, of course, both have been bringing up the issue of this rigged primary. Now, speaking of delegates, 71% of respondents say that parties should pick their presidential nominees with a direct vote instead of using delegates. Now, imagine that. When you ask people what kind of system they want, they tend to choose a more democratic system. They actually want to have more say. Well, the establishment can't have that, right? Now, this poll also points out how some people don't really understand the process. So it was kind of a barrier to entry, right? How do you get in to understand or to vote for the candidate of your choice if you don't understand how the whole system works because of its complexities? Now, according to the poll, 27% said that they did not understand how the primary process works. And about 44% said that they were unsure why we even had delegates. What are delegates and why are they even there? What's the point? It seems like a pretty complicated system, and it is, especially for the average person. They probably wonder, why don't we just make things simpler and make things a little bit more uniform? Nearly half of all respondents said they would like all 50 states to hold their nominating contests on the same day instead of spread across 5 months, like a one and done kind of deal, right? Kind of like what we have for Election Day. But could you imagine, though? Heads would pretty much explode all over Washington if a politician brought this up. Why? Well, because the politicians like the way that it is, and the media also loves a giant, long primary season. You know why they like it? It's because they raise so much money from it, especially now since Citizens United. Now, before they made a lot of money, but since super PACs, since that 2010 decision that put super PACs into the system that could raise unlimited dark money from anybody, essentially, the media has made millions of dollars off elections. Billions. So they love this current primary system. If it was one day, uniform, all the voting was done in one day, and then onto the other, onto the general, well, that would cut into their profits. They would not like that at all. Not only that, but the states like Iowa also love it, because politicians and the media end up spending a whole lot of time and, more importantly, money there. Being first in the nation is kind of a big deal, and it's definitely not something that Iowa would love to give up. A lot of these first in the nation states, well, this first in the nation state doesn't want to give that up. Same with the second in the nation, third in the nation, and basically the most important primaries. They wouldn't want to give up their status because that means giving up money and tourism. Having a one and done, not good for them. So that's probably why this wouldn't happen. But nonetheless, I think these are pretty good suggestions. Open the primaries, make them all at the same time, simplify the process, and add in maybe automatic voter registration. All of these ideas actually make sense. But like everything in America, it's always people with money that always stop the rest of us from having good things. Surprise, right? Now, I like sensible ideas. And so far, I have not seen an argument of why we need a complicated primary system that only really seems to deter people from getting involved. I find that problematic. I actually want more people involved. More people in the process equals more democracy. I like democracy. I want more of it. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Now, for those of you who are probably saying, you're probably writing out this comment right now. Those are the rules, man. Quit whining. Learn. Why don't you just go and learn the rules? They're the rules. You got to follow the rules. But you realize rules can be changed, right? And the first way to go and change them is to present people with an alternative. And to present, hey, look, this is why this doesn't work. Here's a way we could get it to work better. Let's find out why it's a problem and then find a way to fix it. And besides, when you have rules that leave out the majority of the electorate, like we saw in Arizona, New York, and all these other closed primary states, well, that's wrong. That's wrong, and it ought to be fixed. It needs to be remedies. If anything, those same rules and problems ended up disenfranchising people that actually might have been on your side to begin with. Talking about Arizona, Hillary Clinton voters might have been disenfranchised in Arizona. Donald Trump, Ted Cruz supporters. Doesn't matter. One disenfranchised person is too many. It doesn't matter who they vote for. We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we all deserve our right to vote. If you don't care about that, especially as a Democrat, then maybe you should rethink your affiliation. Because Democrats and liberals are actually supposed to care about people who are disenfranchised. So if you're one of those establishment people that voted for Hillary Clinton telling me to quit bitching about the rules and quit bitching about disenfranchisement, maybe you ought to check yourself. Are you really a liberal? Do you really care about more people being in the democratic process? Or do you only care when Republicans do it? We don't like the rules. So let's change them. Let's change them so we can get more people into the political process, not less. Because when more people vote, progressives win.